The first question under work, power, energy section from mechanics is from 1994. That's what we're going to discuss today. An object starts from rest and moves with a constant acceleration. Starts from rest, moves with a constant acceleration. Right. Which of the following graphs best represents the variation of its kinetic energy with distance traveled? You have to be careful. Kinetic energy with distance traveled. That's the question. All right. So when you focus on this question, let's take the object. It's starting at rest. So initial velocity is 0. And then the object must have traveled a certain distance and it will have a velocity of v. So we need to find out a relationship between this velocity and this distance. Because kinetic energy, we know. Now, they have given us kinetic energy is E. And kinetic energy is E, and it is equal to half mv square. So what matters the most is v square, because m is anyway a constant for an object. We have to see how velocity is going to vary with distance. Now in such situation, we have to use, now they have given us the acceleration and that is given as a constant. Right? You know the initial velocity, you know the final velocity, you know the acceleration, you need a relationship for distance. Therefore, you can directly use this equation: v squared equals u squared plus 2as. If not, never mind. Okay, let's go ahead with that. V squared equals u squared plus 2as, and v squared equals 0 plus 2ad distance. Therefore, we will be getting an equation: v squared equals 2ad. V squared equals 2ad. So, right, fine. And we are supposed to plot the graph for kinetic energy and distance. Now I have a relationship for v squared with 2ad. And either side I will multiply by half m. Therefore, on the left side I will be getting half mv squared. On the right side it is half m into 2ad. Both sides I am multiplying by half m. Half m actually. All right. So half mv squared, we know that is E. This 2 and this 2 will get cancelled off. Therefore, we will finally end up in MAD as the equation on the left side. MAD. Right? So, you can compare this equation to the shape of y equals mx, given that kinetic energy is in y-axis, distance is in x-axis, and more importantly, remember m is a constant. Now, gradient is constant. Gradient is constant. Why am I saying that the gradient is constant? Because m, mass, and acceleration both are constant. For an object, mass won't change unless you remove something from that or add something to that. Nothing of that sort is mentioned here, and moreover, the acceleration is constant. Therefore, the graph should have the form y equals mx, so that we can settle to the third answer. You have to be careful. Okay, right. And in case, now let's focus for the, in case if they have approached this question in another way, if they had asked you to plot the graph for velocity and distance, if they had asked to plot the graph for velocity and distance, what is going to be the graph? Now, the equation we have arrived at is this: v squared equals 2ad, sorry, 2ad. And from this equation, you can say v squared is proportional to d. V squared is proportional to d. V squared is proportional to d. Therefore, if v squared is proportional to d, the graph will be v squared is proportional to d. Right. So when you plot a graph for v squared and d, the graph will actually be this. This is how the graph is going to be. But d squared, yeah. If v is proportional to d squared, only the graph will be the fourth one. All right, now this is similar to y squared proportional to x. If not, y is proportional to square root of x. That. So something like that. Therefore, the graph will have a shape like this. Next question is from 1995, level 1995. What does it say? If two objects collide in the absence of external forces, what they mean is the resultant force is 0. which one of the following statement is always true? Is always true. The momentum of each object remains unchanged. The kinetic energy of each object remains unchanged. The total momentum of object remains unchanged. The total momentum of objects, third and fourth, is the same. Direction of motion of each object remains unchanged. So obviously, the answer is the third one. I mean, I don't know which one is which. There must be a change in statement. So let's go with third. I think there's a printing error here. Both can't be same. Total momentum of the objects will remain unchanged. Now, for example, if you take a collision, random collision, we know two objects will be more traveling like this, m1. There can be different situations. Now m1 and v1, okay, and then another object is like this. It's traveling at m2 v2, and this is just before the collision, and right after the collision there are few possibilities. Now I'll just take a random possibility. M1 goes this side and M2 goes this side. V4, something like this. This is just right after collision. So as you can see, the moment of each object remains unchanged. That is definitely wrong. So momentum is a vector. When direction changes, momentum changes. The kinetic energy of each object remains unchanged. That is also not accurate because velocity is changing. So kinetic energy also can change. Now, there are different types of collisions we can think of. Different types of collisions, not all. So they are saying always true. So it's definitely not possible. We have learned when there is an object moving at v velocity towards an identical object which is at rest, what happens? The identical object, the initial object stops and the other objects moves with the same velocity. So if you take this simple example, you see the kinetic energy of each object is changing. The momentum is changing. Here it was mv momentum, here it is 0 now. Here 0 momentum, here it's mv. Here kinetic energy half mv squared, here 0. Here kinetic energy 0, here it's half mv squared. So definitely for each object, kinetic energy and momentum will change. Now, this one is correct. The total momentum of object remains unchanged. That will be correct. Total momentum is always true. M1 V1 equals M1 V1 minus M2 V2 for this case is equal to M2 V4 minus M1 V3. Total momentum in the system will be same because of Newton's second law and third law. When two objects collide, they will experience same force. So the change in momentum, the magnitude of change in momentum is same for both the objects. Therefore, the momentum will be always same. I think the fourth one we can consider total moment, total kinetic energy. Let's go with total kinetic energy for the fourth statement. Since I think probably obviously there is a printing mistake. Total kinetic energy. Let's go with total kinetic energy here. Right. So what can we say about total kinetic energy? Total kinetic energy will not remain unchanged unless it is an inelastic collisions. Total kinetic energy reduces for inelastic collision. Reduces for inelastic collision. Inelastic means there is an energy loss. Elastic means there is no energy loss. All right, so that's why fourth one we will consider that is incorrect. Direction of each object remains unchanged. That's also incorrect. See, in in this example, you can see the direction of the objects. They can definitely change when they collide. Therefore, third is the obvious answer for it. Fourth one, it's not always true. They are saying always true. Fourth is not always true. The next question is from 1996. An electric motor pulls a 100 kilogram mass to a height of 30 meter in 2 seconds. The minimum power needed for this. So why are they mentioning minimum power? Minimum power means the motor will be applying force. The motor will be providing power input. All right. That power input will not only be converted to whatever the desired power output. So there will be desired power output, that is to lift the water. And in addition to that, there will be wasted power. Now power or energy will be wasted as heat, sound, light, unnecessary forms. In this case, that's why they are saying when they say minimum power needed, that means they are ignoring the wastage of energy. Okay. So here the equation is, now you can see the equations for power. Power is equal to change in energy divided by time. And what is the change in energy in this case? And a mass is lifted. So there will be potential energy change, mgh over time. For mass, you can put 100. For g, you can put 10. For height, you can put 30 divided by 2. When you do that, you will be getting, I think, 2 seconds, 100.